It's time for the Pat and Patti Show, starring Patti Smith and Pat Hughes.
Okay, now come on.
Okay, bye, Todd. Thanks.
Bye, Todd.
Bye, Todd.
See ya.
Hey, wow, he brought us wings.
Yes. Wings.
Yeah, zesty buffalo wings. Hell, they're even in date. I mean, this is cool. Okay, welcome to the Pat. Yeah, I'm Pat.
Patti
Show. We're sitting here, and Todd's just such a nice guy.
Yes, he's just delightful.
I mean, you know, he brought it. He was talking about wings yesterday, about airport wings, and I guess they talked about that at the commission.
Yeah, yeah.
And they talked about chicken wings and chickens and roosters and not having roosters, and I think he's discriminating against them roosters.
Yes.
He must be a feminist.
Some of the in the cock crowd don't like the cock crowd. You know what I'm saying? Cocks. I mean,
yeah, I know.
You know, the chicken kind.
Yeah. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
That's the one. That's the one I was going for. There's one behind me. I love that old guy.
Does he wake you up in the morning?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. If the dog doesn't get there
Boy, these things are
first.
hot.
How can you eat that stuff?
Hey, it's almost as hot as Pat and Patti Show.
Yeah, well, you know, some people don't much like our show, Puppy.
That's what he was saying.
I don't understand it.
How
could they not love this face?
I know. But you know, I gotta say this though. That
Well,
when
say
we can bring smiles to people's faces. I interviewed David yesterday.
Well, that must have been exciting.
Yeah, well, it was. But actually, we're sitting there, and he was, you know, I was talking to him about public-private partnership.
Yes.
I tried to get Todd to talk about public-private partnership.
And he
but
only wanted to talk about wings?
That's it.
What's he going into the wing business or something?
I don't know. He used to be a grocer, but you know.
Oh well.
We know how that works. But anyway, I was sitting there talking about public-private partnerships and how David's been shut down and stuff, and he's sitting there, and he was not exactly a happy camper.
Oh.
I mentioned chicken, and he just grinned. Here, let me show you. I'm going to show that piece of video.
Let's see it. David Austin grinned?
Did
his face
He
grin?
beamed.
Oh my God. Well, let's see it.
Tonight at the 7 o'clock meeting, we'll have to vote. But, and I couldn't tell you how at least 3 people are going to vote. But I can tell you, if they vote to try to remove those people, they will be breaking the law.
Okay. The other big issue is chickens. And y'all going to take that up this afternoon.
Well, that's coming before the planning board. And again, you know, I grew up with chickens in the yard with my granddad and grandmother, but they lived out in the country. When you've got a subdivision, I think you honor your neighbors in the subdivision by not being able to do that. And again, how do we want to preserve, you know, our nice subdivisions? And if that's something that you like, then I don't think you need to be living in a subdivision. Now, will they come back with a recommendation of less than 5 acres? I'll leave that to the planning board to give us some direction. Okay,
but you were a chicken lover as a young man.
You can look at me and tell I love chicken.
Me too. Hey.
But I grew up with chickens running in my granddad and grandmother's yard, and you know, occasionally you had this for Sunday lunch. So I understand it, and I understand a lot of people have different types of pets. There's reptiles and there are all those type of things that, you know, we've never had to look at before. You know, pet chickens is something that's just come up of recent. And I think we've got reservoirs to build. I think we've got driver services to build and state patrol. Not to say that this is not important, but it doesn't rate up there with the other things that we're having to look at.
Well, what did you think of David?
David Austin?
Yeah, and his chicken stuff?
I think the veneer on his face almost cracked.
Well, you know, the thing I noted was, and we'll show a little bit of this, which is Todd was sitting there, and David called Todd out in the middle of the meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he talked to Todd. He says, "You can't say that." You know what he's talking about?
No.
He's talking about a survey that Todd claimed to have done of the entire county, and he said
whether you're for commercialization or you're against commercialization, I know what the numbers say. I know what the votes say, 2 votes. I know what the vote said this spring. You really look at it, 100% of the votes cast in post 2, 100% of them were for somebody that was against commercialization. Myself and Patti Smith both. And whether you're for it or against it, I made a comment the other night. Some folks asked me, they said, asked me about different things going on with the airport. Obviously, you know, I don't support it. But I don't support it because of promises and commitments made. I don't support it because of the way things were done on 2-day retreats and code words and everything else. And when 4 other commissioners knew about it and 1 didn't, I can't support that. However, let me make this clear. I know from running an election, I know from knocking on doors and phone surveys, I know from the votes that countywide somewhere between 68 and 72% don't support it.
You can't make that statement. You cannot make that statement.
And then I know also that in my district, it's more than that.
You cannot make that statement.
The thing that bothered me most, he said that 100% of the people in Post 2 voted against the airport. Now, I know that I voted in that election, and I know that I didn't vote against the airport. I know that I did vote for you, but it wasn't because of anything other than, you know, I'm a good Democrat.
Yeah.
I know, and
a heck of a nice guy.
I know. And you were the lesser of 2 evils.
Well, that's true.
Okay. But anyway, you know, as we kind of go down there, you know, anyway, Todd, oh, geez, where am I going to go now?
You're all focused on your wings.
Oh,
you got to get over that.
Yeah, I know. I got.
Todd and his wings.
Hot.
Todd and his hot wings. Let's put them over there, far away, because Lord have
Well,
mercy, they smell up the whole place.
Okay, you got to talk about the next thing. We were talking about who was speaking.
Oh, who was speaking yesterday at the meeting? Well, there was some real stuff going on. I'm telling you, it's like all the craziest of the crazies have started coming out. Now, before you go to those meetings and it was just like boring, just like sitting there bored to death. But yesterday, holy mother of God, it was just one wackadoodle after another.
You should have more respect for your fellow citizens than that. Really?
I try to show them the same kind of respect they show me, usually.
Well, then, I suppose, what can I say? I understand your lack of deference to the folks, but you know, the thing that really struck me was the rant. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It
Ms.
was
Breen.
No, well, not Ms. Breen. No, she. Well, that was a rant too. But I was talking about Liberty, Christian Liberty.
Kirsten.
Oh, was it Kirsten?
Yes, I believe it is Kirsten.
Oh,
Isn't
nobody
it
ever really introduced me. Well, I know her, but I know she gave me the dirtiest look when I was.
Well, that's what she does best. Yeah, really.
Okay, well, but anyway, let's look at a little bit of what I heard when I heard Kirsten rant.
Okay.
Because when I went vegan, I first went vegan for my health. Let me just put that out there. It wasn't for the animals. It wasn't until I started really educating myself that I decided to stop buying products that were A, tested on animals, or B, made with animal products as far as like clothing, shoes, bags go. So I would get these comments on my YouTube channel. How can you call yourself a vegan when you wear Ugg boots? How could you call yourself a vegan and be like using that mascara? I can't believe that you think that you're a vegan. These awful comments. It kind of made me laugh. Then I started getting it from a few other vegans, and they weren't being encouraging or helpful. And I just want to say, I have had 1 or 2 people try to be helpful, but I've had more hate from vegans that I've had help, like trying to encourage me, or hey, just an FYI, oh, that mascara that you're using is tested on animals. No, it was like so much hate, literally like going off on me like a crazy person. Why would these people be so hateful to somebody else trying to be vegan, or maybe they just eat vegan. I don't know. It's just the vegan community is supposed to be loving. We're supposed to be caring for not only animals, but for people too. And for vegans to put animals above people is just as bad as people putting people above animals. Do you understand what I'm saying? As a vegan, you would think that you're, you know, a more caring person because you're not wanting to eat other animals. I'm not saying that people that are not vegan are not caring people. I'm not saying that before I get some hate comments about that.
We got tied on that one.
It's like a crazy vegan.
But anyway, that was I mean, that's what I got out of that anyway. But you know, the other one, it was amazing.
You gotta wipe your mouth again.
Okay, well, oh goodness gracious.
Holy jamboli, I'm gonna vomit if I have to look at that much longer.
I should have put those in the microwave.
I'm telling you.
Anyway, it was the last speaker of the day. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, we'll get rid of those when we take the next video. Okay, hide it. Okay.
The smell.
Yeah. Anyway,
like a buzzard off a poop
anyway,
wagon.
it was talking about the folks that were pro-airport and how fine and whatever they were, and then there was a little bit of ruckus in the background, I guess. And what did we hear? I'll show you what we heard.
Okay, let's see.
These are my opinions. Commissioner Paulding, you should be ashamed of your behavior. In Matthew, we learned if anyone slaps, shut up! 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 Give me the respect that you gave Kristen when she stood up here and cried. In Matthew, we learned if anyone slaps you on one cheek, you should turn the other cheek. Right? Complained about his campaigns against.
You're out.
Can we forward?
It was so bad. It was so bad, David had to call her out of order.
That must have hurt him so bad to try to make one of his biggest supporters shut up. But that look on his face while she was ranting and he was trying to get her to stop, it was priceless.
You know, it was absolutely was. But we got another little clip from Kirsten.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I figure that considering all the people that all the meetings that I've been to, and I've been to meetings for 20 years or better, okay? That she is now in a race for the person that spoke to the commission more times than anybody but Jerry Sher.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you counted all the time, all the minutes and whatever, and I blame that on Todd, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
those rules that they come up with about letting people speak all the time, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. But you know, that was it actually makes it more entertaining. I think we're showing how entertaining it can be. But you know, that's fine. Well, maybe we ought to give Todd an award or something for his opening the door to
Kirsten.
To Kirsten and to.
I thank you for bringing Kirsten to the county.
Well, and KB too, but KB was around before then too. Folks, anyway, you know, we're sitting there, and there was another thing, and Kirsten's piece that we're talking about now is talking about the issue that was about what the county could do to make sure everything comes through them as far as state legislation, local legislation.
I would like to express my support of Resolution 15-04, which requests the Paulding County delegation to not move forward on the introduction of any local legislation to the Georgia General Assembly unless the delegation has been instructed to do so by the Paulding County Board of Commissioners. How unfortunate that this board has the need to enact such a resolution when common sense would dictate this to be the standard policy. However, based on last year's occurrence when Mr. Maxwell was enlisted by several individuals to introduce legislation to the General Assembly that would have expanded the legal spending parameters of the Industrial Building Authority without the knowledge of the entire Board of Commissioners, Approving Resolution 15-04 today is more than understandable and necessary for the security of Paulding County. Mr. Austin, it surprised this morning's audience at the 10 o'clock meeting when you made reference to a gentleman's agreement and disputed the possibility of a representative ever moving forward with local legislative action without the knowledge of the Board of Commissioners. How could you possibly forget the upsets that occurred at last year's February BOC meetings when commissioners were informed of Mr. Maxwell's assignment and voted to stop it, thanks to Commissioner Panal bringing it to their attention? It's reasons like this that more than prove the need to implement Resolution 15-04. As a resident and taxpayer, I expect the commissioners of this county to be given the freedom of doing what they were voted in office to do, to govern this county without interference. I also expect county business, including the proposal of legislative actions, to come before the public at BOC meetings, where residents are given the opportunity to give input on their future and tax dollars. To not pass this resolution would be irresponsible and negligent to every Paulding County resident, which is why I urge each of you to vote yes to Resolution 15-04. Thank you.
Now, I made some comments today that was unconstitutional. Because,
yes, that's what you said.
Yeah. You know, I know that if I was a state legislator, I would say, I'm going to listen. I was elected independently, and I'll listen to whoever I want to about local legislation if I want to. And I don't think that the county being a creature of the state could actually go poof.
Get rid of the county.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, it's not likely to happen, but there was a time, there has actually been, over the period of time, with 159 counties, there's been a pretty good effort to try to get counties to consolidate on a statewide level because there's so many of them.
Yeah. And
it's kind of like the school systems and whatever they consolidated. It's kind of like even Douglas County, where they put Douglas County and Douglasville City into one governing thing. You know, it's known as trying to be more. The point is, the state legislature does this.
Right, it's their job,
and it's not necessarily up to the local elected officials to protect the thing.
No, I mean, well, it may be unconstitutional, and maybe them bringing that up is not possible, and maybe it is not their their area of expertise, their ability to tell them what to do. Well, that's kind of part of the deal. But I have to agree with them. I mean, I would like to tell those
you agree that we want to make sure that they don't do nothing that will let the airport go.
To stick it to the people.
Because 70% of the people, according to Tide, 68 to 72. If I don't
remember the details.
Well, I know, and that would take a survey of 1,000 folks.
I don't know. All I know is that the people here at the end of the runway, we don't
want no airport.
We want somebody to pay attention to our rights, and I haven't seen anybody doing that yet.
I know, and in other words, you would take what, $200,000-$300,000 and go retire to Tuscany, and
I don't think I could get enough out of Paulding County to go to Tuscany, for Pete's sake. But it would be to go somewhere else. Yes.
Well, that was my point when I was running against you, and I don't know why people vote. It was because you were against the airport. That's it.
Well, because I don't want the stupid airport. Yeah. You know, it kind of ruins my life. Of course, if we had a different airport manager other than the Blakester, there's a possibility that the helicopters might not be invited to come and circle over my house for hours on end. And you know, maybe the people at the ends of the runway would be treated with a little more respect. Because this is my 4th rodeo, Pubby. This is my 4th little airport that I've lived in very close proximity to. And nowhere was I treated like a piece of crap that didn't matter, except here in Paulding County. Here in Paulding County, they treat the people around the airport like our property rights and our rights as human beings are nothing. Whereas in other places, like the Executive Airport in Fort Lauderdale or the Pompano Airstrip in Pompano Beach, Florida, I had no beef with those airports whatsoever because they respected my rights as a human being and a property owner. But not in this county.
Well, I can't speak for those folks, and the one thing that I have noted, I could see it even with former Speaker of the House, Glenn Richardson, who had a reputation as being a vindictive person. I think that that's probably one of the feelings that's just too common in Paulding County.
Well, I would say
Being
vindictiveness is big in Paulding County. I think.
Well, I think it gets in the way of us getting a whole lot accomplished. I really do. And so, you know, that's kind of, you know, as we sit here, we're actually kind of in the middle. I think, you know, we're.
Well,
you know,
I think I'm in the middle, but the ultra extreme conservatives think whoa, some wackadoodle, crazy liberal, you know. And I thought that I was a Republican first for a reason. You know, I'm very conservative, fiscally conservative, but I think you should be able to love whoever you want to, and I think you should be able to live your life inside the four walls of your home and be free, not to have people come crashing in and throwing grenades in your baby's crib. Well, yeah, crazy stuff, crazy liberal stuff like that.
I understand. I'm one of these older folks. You know, I'm one. You know, I've got gray hair.
No crap. Mm-hmm.
I understand.
I don't.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a reason why. But anyway.
It is not out of a bottle. This is my original color. This is a gift from God.
Congratulations, but we won't talk about you and Kristen in that way at all. But
don't even talk about me and her in the same breath, please.
Well, the point is that there was another speaker, is old Doc Covington.
I am Dr. Covington. I live on 92, which is pretty much at the end of the Lockheed runway. I enjoy hearing those big jets come over my house, the helicopters. This gives me a secure feeling that we are in a great country.
You'll be asked to leave, please.
I am not up here to make a flowery speech like you just heard. I'm up here just to express my opinion. I've lived in Paulding County for over 58 years, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the progress that has been made over the years. It only comes about through unity, working together, trying to do what is best for the county and not for individuals. And if it's something that's going to be a little inconvenience to us, let's get over it. Let's try to unify the county. I know we've got 2 new commissioners, and I believe that they will try to help us out too. We disagree often, but I think we can plan to agree not to disagree too much. So let's all see if we can't come together somehow. And that's all I've got to say.
I don't think I don't.
Yeah, Doc Covington was the guy that spoke at the very end of the first meeting.
Oh, the doctor that spoke at yes.
Now, he's closer to my generation than, I guess, you're younger than me, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
How old are you?
Well, I'm almost Medicaid age, or Medicare age.
So am I.
Okay.
I'll be 62 this summer.
Okay, well, that's just Social Security.
I know, I don't look it.
I know. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that he was talking about how people need to come together, and that
yeah, I tried
some
that
of these
too.
things aren't so important, and that's the part on the vindictiveness that I think we need to think about is we just need to be more willing to come together and
well, I mean, I
talk
talked about that for 13 months to the people of Paulding County that I worked with and that stopped the airport expansion. I talked to these people about working together, how liberals and conservatives needed to learn to play together if we wanted to have good governance in this country, and what I got was a big screw you. So
okay. Well, you know, I understand, and a reasonable conversation going was, well, I mean, we're trying it right now. And
yeah, we're trying.
You know,
try something.
Hopefully we can be better. But anyway, we need to thank Todd, I guess, for the wings. For the wings,
that was nice.
It was nice of him to do it. I know that you didn't enjoy them at all.
Well, I just don't like the wings.
I understand,
I don't
but
like
anyway,
the skin,
you know,
and that's so unhealthy, puppy.
And I appreciate.
I'm thinking I'm going to have to start doing the chest beating on you at any moment.
Well,
I hear your arteries clogging up now.
I got a machine right over there that is great for doing that. You'll have to do that.
An electric shock machine?
No, it's a stair stepper.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how much time do you spend on that, puppy?
Not as much as I need to. But anyway.
Well, me too. You know, I could afford to lose a few thousand pounds myself.
Well, you talk about them 1,000 pounds. I'll keep mine in the 10, 20, 30 year range.
You better keep your lips closed on that one, puppy, because I am within arm's distance of you.
I understand. Let's see if there's anything. We need to cut this off because we're about done.
Are we?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, one thing we didn't talk
it
about.
not being against the law.
Yeah.
Or it being against the law to yank people's appointments.
To throw the people off the boards. Well, I mean, look, I get it. There's a lot of people on those boards that I'd like to throw off myself, but I don't know what the rules are. I haven't read the rules, so I don't know. I hear the ACCG said that they couldn't do it, but yeah. I would look into it a little further because I would certainly like to see some of those guys and gals gone from the IBA and the airport authority.
Well, that brings up KV, who was talking about all the suits being there, being the justification, which really, that means if you're going to consider that a justification, you got to wait for that to actually go to court and be adjudicated and they be found deficient in some way or another to use that as a reason, because it's not a reason because somebody sued you. That to me just didn't make a whole lot of sense unless it, I suppose somebody could come on and sue Todd for walking down the street and say, well, he needs to resign because he spit on the sidewalk.
Exactly. Well, you can sue anybody for anything.
Well, that's basically what I'm getting at, and so that just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But they get up there and we're talking about chickens.
Don't talk about the chickens again. Let's talk about the one thing that I noticed about that meeting when I was watching it last night. This is the 10 o'clock meeting. It's like the two sides have their talking points. It's like the Protect Paulding, Stop Airport group, and then there's the David Austin, we love us some airport group. And it's like they have their own little talking points. It really is kind of fun for me to watch two groups of Republicans slamming each other. That's kind of fun. I do enjoy that. It's better than them slamming me.
Well, that's true, but that's I think what Dr. Covington was trying to talk about.
Well, but my experience is that they don't want to work with anybody. They don't want to. Well, I tried for 13 months to get these people to understand that we need to work together, and I never got the feeling that they were interested in anything I had to say about this, even though I've been working on this issue for over 5 years.
We're talking about a handful here, right, and a handful here. And why do they do that? Because they can.
Power, control.
But also because we let them.
Well,
that's all. I mean, really.
Well, it is the voters' fault.
Don't have.
I mean, everything you see that's wrong with our government today is the voters' fault.
14% turnout. It is.
If you don't vote, don't complain.
Well, actually, you don't vote, you're not doing your job.
Exactly. I think there should be a law in this country that you have to vote.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, that's all right. Everybody here's Republican and whatever, and they can. The only good news, the hope is that they can change.
Well, we can live in hope.
I know, and we're going to have to because this show's over.
Okay.
All right, that's been the Pat and Patti Show. We'll see y'all later.